Very good morning to all of you. This is mathematics class of grade 8 and this is my summary lecture of chapter number 13, direct and inverse proportions. Dear children, as you all are well aware that this chapter mainly consists of two concepts. First is direct proportion, second is inverse proportion. So, let us recall these two concepts again in this summary lecture, that is lecture number 3 of chapter number 13, direct and inverse proportions. And at the end of this lecture, I shall discuss assignment 1 of this chapter 13. Let us recall now. If the value of two objects depends upon each other in such a way that the increase or decrease in the value of one object affects the value of another object, then these two quantities are said to be in variation. Dear children, first of all, it is very important to understand the meaning of variation or proportions. So, two quantities are said to be in variation if increase or decrease in one quantity causes the increase or decrease in other quantity. So, let us have a look on few examples. For example, if the number of articles purchased increases, the total cost also increases. The cost of number of articles affects the cost. So, number of articles, when we need to purchase more number of articles, we need to pay more. Another example can be, as the speed of a vehicle increases, the time taken to cover the same distance decreases. So, here also we have understood with the help of these two examples that two quantities are said to be in variation if any increase or decrease in one quantity causes the increase or decrease in other quantity. This is what the definition of variation is. Variation or proportion, it is one and the same thing. So let us talk about direct proportion. If the value of variable x always increases or decreases with the respective increase or decrease in the value of variable y, then it is said that the variables x and y are in direct proportion. So, if the value of x always increases and corresponding to that the value of variable y also increases, then the two variables are said to be in direct proportion provided their ratio x over y remains constant. Let us see. For example, after these examples, I will explain how this x by y ratio should remain constant. If the number of articles purchased increases, the total cost also increases. This is quite obvious. Second example can be, more the money deposited in a bank, more is the interest earned. So here, number of articles will increase, cost also increases. So this is a case of direct proportion. More the money deposited in a bank, more is the interest earned. So these two examples are the examples of direct proportions. We can say that x and y are in direct proportion if x over y is equal to constant, where k is a constant. X over y, this ratio should be constant, which is equal to k, and k is this constant. As the value of x increases, the value of y also increases in such a way that ratio x over y does not change. Or as the value of x decreases, the value of y also decreases in such a way that x over y does not change. So, when x and y are in direct proportion, we can write x1 over y1 is equal to x2 over y2. This is what we are supposed to use while solving the questions, where y1, y2 are the values of y corresponding to the values x1 and x2 of x respectively. So, I hope direct proportion or direct variation is clear to you. Let us talk about inverse proportion. Two quantities x and y are said to be in inverse proportion if whenever the value of x increases or decreases, then the value of y decreases or increases in such a way that xy remains constant. So, two quantities x and y are in inverse proportion when the value of x increases but the value of y should decrease. If the value of x is decreasing, the value of y should increase. Then these two quantities are said to be in inverse proportion, and provided, and one more important thing is that their product should remain constant. As in case of direct proportion, we have seen that x over y, their ratio should remain constant, but in case of inverse proportion, their product should remain constant. So, x and y are in inverse proportion. When x and y are in inverse proportion, then x1 into y1 is equal to x2 into y2 is equal to x2 into y3, and it can extend till xn into yn. For example, as the number of workers increases, time taken to finish the job decreases. Obviously, if I will have more number of workers to do a particular task, then I will be able to complete that task within less time. In less time, I will be able to complete that task. Similarly, if I increase the speed of my vehicle, the time taken to cover that given distance will decrease. I will be able to reach my destination earlier. Second example can be, a school wants to spend rupees 6,000 on mathematics books, textbooks. How many books could be bought at rupees 40 each? Clearly, 150 books can be bought. It is quite obvious if the school has to spend rupees 6,000 to buy mathematics textbooks and the cost of one book is rupees 40, then 150 books can be bought with this particular amount. Now, if the price of the textbook is more than rupees 40, quite obvious, if I will be able to get the textbook whose cost will be more than rupees 40, then the number of books that I will be able to purchase will be less than 150. So let us consider the table given below. This is the table. With the help of this, you will be able to understand that if the price of one textbook is 40, I will be able to buy 150 books. If I will increase the price of the textbook, I will be able to buy less books. Likewise, if the price of the book is 60, I will be able to buy 100 rupees. Similarly for 75 and 80. And you must have observed one thing, that 40 into 150. As I told you that if it is a case of inverse proportion, their product should remain constant. 40 into 150, if you multiply, you will be getting 6,000. And 50 into 120, again you will be getting 6,000. Likewise, if you will keep on multiplying these x and y, you will be able to get this same product, that is 6,000. Thus, two quantities are said to vary in inverse proportion if there exists a relationship of the type xy is equal to k between them, k being a constant. So, if x and y are in inverse proportion, it can be said that x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2, where y1 and y2 are the corresponding values of the variables x1 and x2. So, let us talk about homework. Basically, this is not the homework from NCERT book. You are supposed to complete assignment 1 of chapter number 13, direct and inverse proportions, in your homework notebook. Those who have not completed the exercises from NCERT, like exercise 13.1 and 13.2, those who have not completed, they are supposed to complete these two exercises from NCERT book. And after that, assignment 1 is to be completed in the homework notebook. This I am going to discuss in the further slides. So dear children, I hope the summary of this lecture is now clear to you. Basically, we are supposed to deal with two concepts, direct and inverse proportions, and you should know the meaning of variation or proportion also. So let us talk about assignment 1 questions. Question number 1 is, 100 persons had food provision for 24 days. If 20 persons left the place, the provision will last for how many days? Dear children, after reading the question, it is very important to analyze the question whether it is a question of direct proportion or an inverse proportion. So, let us analyze the question. If 100 persons are there and they are having the food provision for 24 days, if 20 persons left the place, obviously if number of persons will decrease, then I will be able to have food for more number of days. So this is an example of inverse proportion. So we are supposed to use the concept of inverse variation or inverse proportion. Let us see now how to solve this. If the number of persons will decrease, as I told you, if the number of persons will decrease, then food provision will last for more days. One quantity is being decreasing, but the other quantity is being increasing. So it is a concept of inverse variation. And I hope you all know that what we are supposed to use in inverse variation, x1 into y1 is equal to x2 into y2. So x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. Or I have made the table also. This table is to be made to make your question easier. So number of persons, number of days I have taken. Number of persons were 100 and number of days they were having food provision for 24 days. If 20 persons have left the place, then number of persons will be 80. Now I need to find out for how many days the food provision will last. So 100 into, this is x, this is y, this is x1, this is y1. This is x2, this is y2. So keep on putting the values. 100 into 24 is equal to 80 into y2. After solving, like 100 into 24 divided by 80, you will be able to get the answer. 30 is the answer. So y2 is 30. Next question is, an electric pole 14 meter high casts a shadow of 10 meter. Find the height of a tree that casts a shadow of 15 meter under similar conditions. So let us see whether it is a question of direct proportion or inverse proportion. More the height of an object, the more would be its length of its shadow. It is quite obvious. The more the height of an object, more would be the length of its shadow. Hence, this is a case of direct proportion. And in direct proportion, what we are supposed to use? x1 over y1 is equal to x2 over y2. You can write here this x meters, or you can write any other variable also, or you can write in terms of x1 y1, x2 y2. So 14 over 10 is equal to x2 over 15. Here, height of the object I have taken x2. So 14 into 15 divided by 10 is equal to x2. You will be getting x2 as 21 meters. This is the table. You can make the table also. So height of the object in meters, height of the shadow in meters. 14 meter was the height of the object and it casts a shadow of 10 meters. It is x2. I have taken x2. You can take x or you can take any other variable also. And this is 15. And we know this relationship. This 14 over 10 should be equal to x2 over 15, and you will be able to get the answer. Let us talk about question number 3. The scale of a map is given as, this is the ratio of the scale given to you. Two cities are 3 centimeter apart on the map. Find the actual distance between them. We need to find the actual distance between them. And it is, you must have understood, like more the map distance, more would be the actual distance. It is generally maps are being drawn to give an idea of the distance or the idea of the direction also. So more the map distance, more would be the actual distance. So it is again a case of direct proportion. Like I have made the table also. Map distance in centimeter it is given to us. Like this is one I have taken. As we have been given two cities are the distance between the map, distance between the cities on the map is given. So I have taken map distance. So this one will represent this map distance. What is the distance shown on the map? And 3 centimeter is the distance on the map between the two cities. Actual distance we need to find out, so I have taken y2, and this is the actual distance, that is 2 crores in centimeter. We need to do this. So 1 ratio 2 crores was given to us, so I have written like this. This is x, this is y, this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, and this is y2, as I have written already. So 1 ratio 2 crores, 2 cities are 3 centimeter apart. I have written that map distance 3, and this is y2. So using the concept of direct proportion, x1 over y1 is equal to x2 over y2. It is quite simple to solve this. This y2 will be shifted here, and you are supposed to cross multiply. So y2 will be 6 crores centimeter, and it is better to convert it into kilometers, because we are supposed to find the actual distance, and actual distance is can be easily measured in kilometers. So I have calculated it in kilometers. You can leave this answer till here also, that will also be correct, but we can also convert it into kilometers, and if it is asked especially in the kilometer, you are supposed to definitely convert it into kilometers. And we know that first of all you need to convert it into meters. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter, and that is why we have divided it by 100, and then 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meters. And then you can easily find it out the answer. Question number 4 is 8 pipes can fill a tank in 2 hours. How long will 5 pipes take to fill the same tank? So lesser the number of pipes, more will be the time required to fill the tank. You can see in the question, earlier 8 pipes were being used and they are filling the tank in 2 hours. And now if I will be using less number of pipes, it will be taking more time. These pipes will take more time to fill the tank. So it is a case of inverse proportion. One quantity is decreasing, one quantity is increasing, but another quantity is decreasing. Like number of pipes have been decreased, but time taken will obviously increase. So this is a case of inverse variation. Now as we know that in case of inverse proportion, what is the relation? x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. So we have put the values and we got the answer as 192. Like number of pipes x, time in minutes is y. This is x1, this is y1. This is x2 and this is y2. So 8 into 120 is equal to 5 into y2. You will be able to get this 192 minutes. You are getting the answer in minutes. It is up to you. You can convert it into hours also, or you can leave it like this also. So I have converted into hours. So 192 minutes I have converted into 3 hours 12 minutes. I hope you all know how to convert minutes into hours. As we know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes, so you can easily convert it into hours. Question number 5 is, if 7 kg sugar costs rupees 115.50, what is the cost of 12 kg sugar? And we can assume, or we can analyze this question, and we can conclude, more the mass of sugar, more would be the cost of sugar. So it is a case of direct proportion, and we know the relationship x1 y1 is equal to x2 over y2. x1 over y1 is equal to x2 over y2. This can be the table. You can make the table also. Mass of sugar in kg is 7. It is given to us. Cost of sugar in rupees is given to us 115.50. This is given to us 12, and we need to find out this. So we know the relationship x1 over y1 is equal to x2 over y2, and you will be able to get the answer as 198. So the cost of 12 kg sugar will be rupees 198. As you can also compare with the table also. If the mass of the sugar is increasing, cost will also increase. So as we have concluded that it is a case of direct proportion, so our assumption is correct. Now let us talk about question number 6. If 15 workers can build a wall in 48 hours, how many workers will be required to do the same work in 30 hours? As 15 workers are completing the wall or making the building the wall in 48 hours, how many workers will be required to do the same work in 30 hours? If I will reduce the number of hours, I need to have more workers. So this is a case of inverse proportion. More the number of workers, faster they will build the wall. But here the number of hours are being decreasing. So I need to have more workers to complete my task. So this is a case of inverse proportion. And we know that x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. This is the relationship in case of inverse proportion. So this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. Putting the values, 48 into 15, like 48 into 15 divided by 30, you can get the answer as 24. So to finish the work in 30 hours, 24 workers are required. Earlier, 15 workers were required, but now if I need to complete the work in less time, I need to have more workers. Like 24 workers will be required to finish the work in 30 hours. Question number 7 is, if the weight of 12 sheets of thick paper is 40 grams, how many sheets of the same paper would weigh 2.5 kg? Now, another point, one point is to analyze the question and to find out whether it is a question of direct or inverse proportion. Next point to keep in mind is their units. Here it is given to you in grams and this is given to you in kilograms. So you are supposed to take care of this unit also. Let us first talk about whether it is a question of direct or inverse proportion. More the number of sheets, more would be the weight. So the number of sheets and their weights are directly proportional to each other, and we know the relationship x1 over y1 is equal to x2 over y2. Now number of sheets were 12, weight of sheets were 40, it was given to you in grams, and number of sheets we need to find out, this is unknown, and I have converted it into grams. It was given to you in kilograms, but I have converted it into grams. So 2.5 grams you will be able to convert it into grams. 2.5 kilograms you have converted into grams. So it will be 12 over 40 is equal to x2 over 2500, and after solving you will be able to get the answer as x2 will be 750. So the required number of sheets of paper is equal to 750. So dear children, I hope all of you have understood that question, all the questions of the assignment, and you will be able to do this assignment well in your notebook. You are supposed to do all the questions of this assignment as well as NCERT book exercise 13.1 and 13.2 with complete steps, and it is always better to make a table to solve the questions. I hope you will be able to do all the questions of the assignment as well as NCERT book. Thank you so much.